Welcome to Have You Read It, the channel where we bring books to life, one summary at a time. Whether you're here for self-help, personal growth, or business inspiration, there's something for everyone. Today we're diving into John C. Maxwell's Leadershift 11 Essential Changes Every Leader Must Embrace. This book isn't just about becoming a leader, it's about becoming a better leader, someone who can navigate the ever-changing landscape of today's world. It's a guide for those who are good and want to be better. It assumes you're already a leader but encourages you to make shifts to improve. The central theme of Leadershift is adaptability. The world is changing faster than ever before, and leaders who cling to outdated methods are doomed to fail. Maxwell argues that success hinges on the ability to make leadershifts, conscious changes in thinking, acting, and leading that enhance both organizational and personal growth. As he puts it, change or die. In the book's first chapter, Maxwell sets the stage, explaining why leadershifting is crucial in today's fast-paced environment. He emphasizes the increasing speed of change and the shortening timeframe for future planning, drawing a parallel to cheetahs whose hunting success relies not just on speed, but on agility. He reminds us that forward is also shorter, making the case that long-term planning today has to occur in shorter time frames. He states that a long-range plan today may only be 2 years, not 10, 5, or 2 the way it used to be. He emphasizes that leadershifting is an ability and willingness to make a leadership change that will positively enhance organizational and personal growth, distinguishing it from mere conformity. He stresses the importance of embracing uncertainty and proactively adjusting to change, quoting Dave Martin, who said, "Adaptability is the positive quality of being able to sense the shift in wind direction and proactively adjust one's course to take advantage of that wind shift." Before diving into the specific leadershifts, Maxwell outlines 7 key practices for successful leadershifting: continuous learning, valuing yesterday but living in today, prioritizing timing over just speed, expanding your big-picture perspective, thinking ahead, courageous action in uncertainty, and striving for continuous improvement. He also uses the analogy of fencing out to help us understand that leadershifting is about seeing a bigger picture and getting better. He points out that yesterday's best is the foundation for tomorrow's improvement. The first leadershift Maxwell explores is the move from soloist to conductor. He recounts how Zig Ziglar's words, "You can get everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want," profoundly impacted his leadership, prompting a shift in focus from self to others. Drawing parallels to orchestral conductors, he highlights the greater potential of a group and the importance of collaboration. This shift involves slowing down to bring others along, recognizing your dependence on others, understanding others' perspectives, and helping them shine. Maxwell tells a story about leading his grandkids in a marching band to illustrate how important understanding the needs of your followers is. He suggests that leaders develop an others-focused mindset, giving without expecting return. The next shift Maxwell addresses is from goals to growth. While initially driven by numerical goals, he realized that personal growth was more valuable than hitting specific targets. He emphasizes the need for inward motivation, focusing on a few vital areas of growth: relationships, equipping, attitude, and leadership, and adopting a growth mindset without a finish line. He uses his experience doubling the attendance of his church to make the point that the lessons he learned during the process were more valuable to him than achieving the goal itself. To become growth-oriented, Maxwell suggests embracing change, cultivating a teachable spirit, prioritizing learning over fear of failure, surrounding yourself with growing people, developing humility, believing in yourself, and embracing layered learning, the continuous building of knowledge and wisdom over time. He points out that growth's highest reward is not what we get from it, but what we become by it. The third shift Maxwell discusses is from perks to price, which emphasizes that true leadership involves sacrifice and continuous effort. He acknowledges the initial allure of perks, but stresses the deeper fulfillment that comes from paying the price of leadership. This involves facing the reality that leadership is an uphill climb, leading by example, and demonstrating consistent effort. Maxwell shares the Stockdale paradox, emphasizing the importance of retaining faith while confronting brutal realities. He also shares the anecdote about the 13-year process to relocate Skyline Church to help us understand that it takes more time and resources to go uphill than we often think it will. He also suggests that follow-me leaders believe in themselves, set high expectations, and make personal commitments before expecting these from others. He also uses the example of Cal Ripken Jr. to encourage readers to be consistent in their leadership efforts. Pleasing people to challenging people is the fourth leadershift. Maxwell recounts his early struggles with people-pleasing and the realization that leadership requires challenging people to grow, not just making them happy. He relates his difficult experience during his first few months as a pastor in rural Indiana, when he learned that he had to earn the right to influence others and that his position didn't guarantee leadership. This shift involves changing expectations toward leadership, valuing people, establishing expectations up front, asking hard questions before difficult conversations, handling tough conversations effectively, understanding the 25-50-25 principle, and balancing care with candor. He reminds readers that you never know if people are really with you until you ask them for commitment. He makes the case that caring and candor must work together in leadership. Maxwell's fifth leadershift is from maintaining to creating, a shift he describes as the abundance shift. He contrasts the maintaining mindset of his early ministry experiences with his desire to create and innovate, drawing a parallel between shepherds and ranchers. He introduces the concept of 4 zones: coasting, comfort, challenge, and creative. To foster creativity, Maxwell suggests building a creative culture, striving to make everything better, looking for options in addition to making plans, valuing ideas, seeking diverse perspectives, taking risks, and living on the other side of yes, embracing opportunities. He uses his difficult experience relocating Skyline Church to make the point that maintaining can sometimes look like creating, but that the creative leader is open to different possibilities and new ways of doing things. Maxwell introduces the concept of advance attraction to encourage readers to think about and look for what they want, reminding us that what you focus on expands. He also suggests that leaders can make everything better using the 10-80-10 method of improvement. He uses his experience writing his first books to help us see that sometimes planning can restrict the growth of creativity. The sixth shift, from ladder climbing to ladder building, focuses on the transition from individual achievement to equipping others. Maxwell recalls his earlier years as a speaker and how he shifted from focusing on himself to helping others get better through his speeches. He describes 4 stages: ladder climbing, ladder holding, ladder extending, and ladder building. Maxwell suggests that mentoring is extending the ladder for emerging leaders, and that we should mentor those who are hungry, have potential, share our values, and possess leadership qualities. He encourages mentors to give handles, laboratories, roadmaps, routes, wings, and whys to those they mentor. He states that ladder building allows people to build and climb as high as their talent and work ethic will take them. The seventh leadershift, from directing to connecting, addresses communication. Maxwell points out how his upbringing and personality predisposed him to a directing style, but how experiences with consultant Bob Beal and coach Pat Summitt highlighted the importance of connecting before directing. This shift involves humility, curiosity, effort, trustworthiness, generosity, listening, and encouragement. Maxwell emphasizes finding common ground, valuing others, and creating a two-way street of communication. He recounts Bob Beal's method of connecting through questions to help us understand how to find people before leading them. He uses Pat Summitt's halftime routine to illustrate how a leader can find his players through questions to connect with and lead them. He also states that trustworthiness comes from integrity, consistency, and competence, and explains how we can regain trust when we have a failing. Maxwell's 8th leadershift is team uniformity to team diversity, which highlights the benefits of diverse teams. He reflects on his homogeneous upbringing and the gradual shift toward appreciating diversity through various experiences. He explains that diverse teams fill knowledge, perspective, and experience gaps, providing a competitive advantage. Maxwell discusses the barriers to embracing diversity, including fear of conflict, insufficient personal networks, unwillingness to deal with prejudice, arrogance, personal insecurities, and failure to be inclusive. He cites the example of Cheryl Moses, who organized an event to connect people from different communities. The 9th leadershift, from positional authority to moral authority, addresses the source of influence. Maxwell tells the story of his first encounter with Claude, a man without a title or position, who nonetheless held a high level of moral authority because of who he was. He defines moral authority as the recognition of a person's leadership influence based on who they are more than the position they hold, earned through a lifetime of consistency. He explains that moral authority stems from competence, courage, consistency, and character. He stresses the importance of leading with integrity, authenticity, humility, and love. He explains his reasoning for shifting from pleasing people to challenging them and how that shift allowed him to become a better leader. Maxwell's 10th leadershift is from trained leaders to transformational leaders, which emphasizes the power of transformative leadership. He shares a personal anecdote about a failure to help someone in need, which prompted a shift in his leadership toward valuing and prioritizing others. He explains that transformational leaders possess vision, communicate effectively, inspire belief, ignite passion, and take action. Maxwell outlines 5 actions for transformative leadership, focusing on personal transformation, taking action, creating a positive environment, providing resources, and committing to making a difference. He provides examples of transformative leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and John F. Kennedy, and uses the example of Lored's transformation of the prison system in Colombia to help us appreciate the potential of transformed leaders. The final leadershift Maxwell discusses is from career to calling, which explores the idea of finding one's purpose. He describes 3 ways people relate to their work: job, career, and calling. He shares his personal experience of being called by God to teach leadership, but points out that you don't have to be religious to experience a calling. A calling, according to Maxwell, aligns with who you are, taps into your passion, is about others, is bigger than you, changes your perspective, gives you purpose, helps you overcome obstacles, and brings fulfillment. He encourages readers to identify their singing, crying, and dreaming moments, to uncover their calling, and to integrate daily focus with a long-term perspective when pursuing it. So, what's the main takeaway from Leadershift? In a world of constant change, the only way to thrive as a leader is to embrace change itself. Leadershifting isn't a one-time event. It's a continuous process of learning, adapting, and growing. It's about being willing to let go of old ways of thinking and leading, even when they've been successful in the past, to embrace new approaches that better serve your team and the larger vision. Here are some heuristics, or mental shortcuts, to remember from Leadershift. Real growth. Focus on relationships, equipping, attitude, and leadership for personal development. Hope and hard. Balance optimism with the reality that leadership is challenging. Follow me. Lead by example, believing in yourself, setting high expectations, and making strong commitments. Connect before you direct. Find common ground with others before giving directions. Value diversity. Embrace differences in knowledge, perspective, and experience. Moral authority over positional authority. Influence comes from who you are, not just your title. Be transformed to transform. Personal transformation precedes leadership transformation. Clock and compass. Integrate daily focus with a long-term vision when pursuing your calling. Singing, crying, dreaming. These moments can point you toward your true calling. Thanks for watching. Have you read it? Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss our next book dive.